Hello everyone. I hope I'm audible and visible, right? So let's start. So yesterday we did a class on how to approach this paper, right? And today we'll be starting with some basics. As you can see, the list is there on the screen. Now the basics is important because gradually when we will move ahead in this topic, right, you will come across these words, and almost every concept in your economics syllabus is defined by these terms that you see on the screen, right? So for about 70 to 80% of today's class, I'll be dealing with these topics. If the time permits, we'll start with a new topic which is known as the sectoral composition of Indian economy, because recently also there was a question on the sectoral composition, so we'll start that topic today itself. So let's start with the basics throughout this discussion, because today we are starting with the first class. So actually the topic wise first class, and yes, Preet, good afternoon for you. So I would like to ask questions throughout the class. This is the first class from the perspective of yes, good afternoon Manu as well. So this is the first class with respect to the overall, you can say overall guidance, the first topic itself. So right now I'm not going to expose you to the prelim questions, although I showed you some of the questions yesterday, but there was nothing to be taught, right? There's nothing to be taught over there. That's why I have not sent you the notes. Today I'll include the notes from yesterday and today itself. You'll get a complete file, because yesterday there was nothing to teach or nothing to grasp, nothing to remember. That was just a kind of an introductory class. So today we'll be starting with these topics. Now all of you have some basic idea about these topics which are mentioned on the screen. So there is nothing, it's not a rocket science for you. You have some kind of idea in this regard. Okay, and I'm pretty sure about that. Like what is demand, what is supply, what is equilibrium, what is interest, right? What is a tax? What is the money, currency, GDP, right? Current GDP, constant price GDP, real GDP, nominal GDP. What is a circular flow, right? Sectors of the economy, growth and development, growth rate versus compound annual growth rate. Okay, so let's start with the first one. Now, if you open your microeconomics NCRT, you'll find that these are the topics, these first two topics, that is demand and supply, and consequently the equilibrium, they are mentioned in your 11th class, the 12th class NCRT. And in that particular topic, you will find that this is the foundation of economics. This is the foundation of economics. But before starting the topic itself, I would like to clarify something, that economics is all about whatever you read in economics, right? It's all about two different forces. The entire economy that you will be reading, the entire economy that I will be teaching you, is based upon two or more forces working together, right? Now what are these two or more forces? Okay, let's start from the basics first. Okay, the first 2-3 classes will be very, very basic for you. So this is the pen. Okay, this is the pen. It's a digital pen. I'm using this to write something on the digital board. You get all these points. Okay, one more thing. I hope my voice is clear today. Yesterday I got this from the management that the voice was very low. I done something to the software to increase it. Okay, now imagine this is a pen. Now somebody produced this pen. Why they produce this pen? For the fun? No, nobody produces anything for fun. Things are being produced for two purposes, either for the consumption or for the sale. So either that person who has produced this pen can consume it, that is use it, so that person can use this pen, or he can sell this pen. These are the only two things. There is nothing, there is no third option. Okay. Now you might say, sir, what if he is not consuming but not sold off? Then it will become a stock, inventory. It will become what? Stock or inventory. So forces, right? So something produced will have three options: consume, right? Consume, sold, stock. These are the only three options you have. Either you will consume something, or you will sell it, or if none of them, then it is lying as in stock, or you can call it as inventory. It is inventory. So when you enter a particular shop, let's say you want to buy this pen, you go to a particular shop. So do you think that a shop has only this, pardon me, do you think that this particular shop has only one pen? You go there, you purchase this pen and the shop is closed down? No. The shop may have hundreds of other pens like this. Is it possible to sell all those pens over a day? No. Is this possible to sell all the pen within a year? Maybe no. Maybe no. You go to any particular car manufacturer in India, go to Maruti, Suzuki, Tata, Mahindra, Honda, Hyundai, whatever. You will always find that they have some cars being used by their company employees. 99% of the cars sold in the market, but still they have cars in their stock. Still they have car in their stock, because everything which is sold may not be what it was demand in the market. Somebody produced, let's say they produce 100 cars. So this is what? Supply. They have supplied 100 cars in the market. Okay. Is it possible that all the 100 cars will be sold off? No. Let's say 95 cars were sold off in a particular year. FY means financial year. Financial year is 1st of April to 31st of March. Okay, this is not from January to December. That's a calendar year. It's a financial year. So financial year is this. Okay, so let's say 95 cars were sold. Okay, 5 cars are still standing in the factory. The rest of the 5 cars are still there in the factory. What they are? Stock or inventory? Clear? I hope I have clarified this. Okay. Now, why 5 cars were not sold? If somebody is supplying 100 cars, they must have prepared a plan, right? They must have prepared a plan. After research, development, and every kind of calculation, they came to the conclusion that 100 cars will be demand. If we produce 100 cars, they will be sold off within a year. But 5 of them could not be sold. Can you tell me the reason? What is the reason for which the 5 cars were not sold? What is the reason for which slowdown in the economy? Okay. Okay. Anything else? No demand. Why no demand? Yes, agree. No demand. Why no demand? Is it because of the slowdown in the economy? Right? But 5 families or 5 people or 5 families, they may have purchased the car, but they have not purchased the car. Right? It means there are multiple reasons for that. Right? Yes, of course, their income may be less. They have deferred their payment. Maybe somebody who was about to buy the car became unemployed. He lost his job. So he has deferred his payment, or he has rejected his plan to purchase a car. Could be anything. So multiple reasons are there for the demand. Now, if what is being supplied equals to what is being demanded, what do we have? This is known as equilibrium. That is 100 cars were supplied, 100 cars were supplied and 100 cars were demanded. Okay, so this is known as equilibrium. If 100 cars were produced but only 95 of them were demanded, it means there is disequilibrium. This is a disequilibrium. Okay, see, basically I'm taking very narrow example for you. This is known as disequilibrium. Okay, now when the condition is this, when there is equilibrium, do we need any kind of intervention? When the economy is at equilibrium, do we need any kind of intervention, government intervention or RBI intervention or any kind of intervention? Do we need? No. So this is the best situation. This is a best situation. This is the best situation. Then you will say, sir, we have never seen this, which is true also. 100 cars produced, 100 cars sold. You never see that. You always have stocks. You always have stocks. There are very rare chances that there is a stock. And you will notice that whenever there is a whenever there is a sale, it is known as stock clearance sale. Stocks clearance sale. Why? Because they have produced something extra. Now they want to get it rid of, even at a lower prices. Now coming to this point, price. So when demand equals supply, some price must be there. Some price must be there, right? So 100 cars were sold off to 100 demand. It basically means each car must be sold at a particular price. Let's say each car was sold at 10 lakh rupees, right? 10 lakh rupees. Now this 10 lakh, what is that? It is equilibrium price. Okay. Now when the equilibrium price is there, when the equilibrium quantity is there, in that case government never intervene. Economy works on its own. Government never try to intervene, never try to include itself in the economic process. Government is happy. Government is happy in its law and order, politics, judiciary, police, military and other situations for which they are responsible, education, health and other things. Government will not try to get into when the economy is working at an equilibrium. But as I told you guys, this is a rare situation. It is a rare situation. Stocks are there, right? Unsold items are there. It's a fact. Okay, it is kind of a reality. It means what? There are two situations, which is disequilibrium. There are two situations which is at disequilibrium, right? That is, demand is more than supply or supply is more than demand. These are the two situations. If there is no equilibrium, demand may be more than supply and supply may be more than demand. That is, in the first situation there is scarcity, right? In the first situation there is scarcity of something because demand is more than supply, as easy as possible. In the second case, you have surplus, right? You can also call it as a deficit, but we do not use deficit for the products. So these are the two situations of equilibrium. Now please tell me, the equilibrium price that we had, 10 lakh rupees, in which case it will be more than 10 lakh and in which case it will be less than 10 lakh. Out of surplus and scarcity, where will you have prices more and where will you have prices less than 10 lakh? Then 10 lakh. Tell me. Surplus, less price. Okay. In this case, you are saying less prices. In this, what will have? Price crash. Price crash. Clear? In this case, price crashes. Because देखो, the demand was 100 cars, they have produced 150. So what they will say? They will say कि there is a sale. Please come and purchase our cars. The cars are on the sale. This is how it happens. In this case, where the demand is more than supply, then the producer will be arrogant. Now I will quote the prices the way I wish. I will quote the prices. In this case, there will be inflation. What is inflation? Rise in the general price level. That is inflation. Rise in the general price level. One more thing, guys. Although you are not supposed to write many things, but whenever I'm giving you these kind of, whenever I'm writing something on the board, please write it anywhere in your rough paper, pages, wherever, right? You can write that. Although you will get a recording for this, you can write it later on also. So there is no issue in that. You will get a recording, right? Or maybe you are watching this in the recorded session. But still, these are not the things which will be included in the handouts or the notes. This is the explanation of a concept. No definitions, nothing else. Clear? Now, so far we have studied three situations between demand and supply. The one is equilibrium, the second is disequilibrium. Okay, so let me summarize all this again. So demand and supply has two setups. First is equilibrium, you can keep on writing. Second is disequilibrium. Equilibrium is the one where demand equals supply, right? No surplus, no scarcity. But it's a very rare phenomena. It's a very rare concept. In the real life, you rarely find equilibrium. In the real life, you will rarely find equilibrium. Then under disequilibrium, you have two concepts. The first one is scarcity, where demand exceeds supply. The second one is surplus, where supply exceeds demand. The first one calls for inflation. The first one called for inflation, and the second one called for deflation. The opposite of inflation is deflation, right? So either you can pause with the video and take a screenshot, or you can do it otherwise. So this is the concept, right? The entire economy, the rest classes that I'm going to take is based on this only. Yes. Okay, now why I'm saying it is based on this only, for very basic reason, that this setup defines the status of an economy. I'll give you the reasons where this setup works. I'll give you the reason. Okay, I'll give you all the things today itself. That equilibrium and disequilibrium is the foundation stone of economics. If you understand the foundation stones of economics, the rest of the classes, every topic that I'm going to teach will become easier for you, right? And you will get more ideas from there. So let me talk about some examples. So examples, where does this used? Where these concepts are being used? Interest rate. Interest rate. How it is being determined? It is determined by supply and demand of money. Okay, clear? Price of any product, price of any product or service, defined by what? Supply and demand. Supply and demand. Clear? Another one. Exchange rate. Exchange rate is determined by demand and supply of foreign currency, right? Right? Okay. Monetary policy of RBI. Monetary policy of RBI is based on what? Demand and supply of rupee. Yes or no? Yes or no, right? So point is, guys, everything that we will be reading about, everything that you are going to read about, it's all a matter of this demand and supply only. It's the foundation. It's the foundation. Now, I have just told you that no, government intervenes when there is a disequilibrium. Let me talk about a disequilibrium. I'm just giving you one example about a disequilibrium. Okay, just one example of a disequilibrium. Let's take an example of a house. Example of a house. Just tell me in the answer, your answer should be yes or no. Okay, your answer should be yes or no. Now point is, please tell me, the number of house demanded in India, is it equal to the supplied? Yes or no? Is the demand of houses equals to the supply in India? Yes or no? No? No, right? Right? What is the change? Where is this equilibrium? Scarcity or surplus? There is a scarcity. There is scarcity. Right? Now, when there is a scarcity, please understand one thing. It shows what? Disequilibrium. It shows disequilibrium. What do we need? What is the solution for disequilibrium? Government intervention. Government intervention. Can you give me one example of government intervention? If you know. If you don't know, I'll give you the example. Can you give me one example of government intervention? Perfect. Perfect. Right? Prime Minister Awas Yojana. Government also provide interest subsidy. That is, government pay a part of the interest. It's smart city program, right? Yes, all these things. Are you getting my point, guys? That why did I said that demand and supply, equilibrium, disequilibrium is the foundation of economics. It is the foundation of economics. Now, in none of the question they are going to ask this. None of the question. Please trust me. Never ever UPSC asks this basic thing. But if this basic thing is clear, everything that will be coming in the future will be like a piece of cake for you. And trust me, guys, this is how it happens. Chalo, let me give you a very practical and a recent example of disequilibrium. Please tell me one thing. Is UPI free or chargeable? Is UPI free or chargeable? Free? Chargeable? Which one? I never paid anything for this. I never paid any charge for UPI transactions. Abhi kiya, I've just done a transaction for this Blinkit few minutes back, right? It's free. UPI transactions are free. But if you are reading the newspaper, or if you are just following the newspaper or just social media, right? You will come across a point that there have been debates that UPI should be chargeable. Now, why they are saying UPI is chargeable? Because the demand of UPI is more than the supply. UPI is a service, it's not a product, it's a service. The point is that demand of UPI, that is per day transactions. We are doing billions of transactions in a month, billions of transactions, right? In a month, a person is doing like 20, 30, I do like 30, 40 transactions in a month. So there is a billions of transactions. So demand is more than supply. Now, supply requires IT infrastructure, right? Servers, right? They require servers. So that's a cost. To have a server, to have an IT server, to have a cloud storage and everything else, government, because it is run by, right? It is run by government, NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India Limited, NPCIL. So they are paying out of the pocket. They are paying out of the pocket, right? So government is saying, bhai, how far government is ready to bear the burden about this transactions. In this case, please understand one thing. Government is saying it should not be free. As of now, it is free. In the future, it may be chargeable. Government may say कि any transaction about 50,000 will get 0.25% of charge. 0.25%. Maybe. It's a very small amount. Okay. Because you already paid 2% on credit cards. So 0.25 is a very small one. So guys, this is what is known as the concept of disequilibrium, and how does government intervene in order to bring changes in that. Now, demand and supply, this is graphical representation. Graphical representation. Okay. So here I will include price. Now this is something which is mentioned in your NCERT. Quantity, right? So there is nothing new. Again, I am telling you, this is NCERT level, school level. Now, let's derive the demand first. Okay. On the x-axis, you have quantity. This is y-axis, this is x-axis. You have already studied this in your school days. Price, quantity. Let's say there is a point over here. Then there is a point over here. Then there is a point over here, point over here, and point over here. It shows what? It shows that when the price is increasing, let's say when the price is increasing, the quantity is also increasing, right? As you can see, right? So there is outward increase in both, right? Something like this. Now, this is outward shift in both. When price is increasing, quantity is increasing. Increase in quantity, increase in price. Who want that? Who does want that? Supplier. Supplier. Take yourself on the side of a supplier. Don't you think you will always try to sell something at a higher price? If you have two customers, let's say you are a shopkeeper and you have two customers for a product which is 100 rupee value. One customer is saying, and you have just one of them, one product. You say it is 100 rupees price. These other customers say, no, I will pay 110. You will increase the price to 110. Then the first customer says, no, I will pay 120. Then you will change it to 120. So point is, the price increases when there is more quantity demand. So the supply curve is like this. If I join these points, this is known as supply curve. Simple. All right. Now, the demand is just opposite of supply. If the price is very high, I will demand less. Let's say the price is And please understand this thing is not asked by UPSC. UPSC will never ask these things. This is just to clear your foundations. So let's say this is the price, any price you take, right? 50, 60, you can write any number over here. Quantity is less, price is high, quantity is less, right? Something over here. If the quantity is more, have you ever done this? You know, you will go to a shop and you will say to the shopkeeper, Bhaiya, if I purchase more, will you reduce the price? I did that yesterday. So I went to the grocery shop and I went there to purchase vegetables, right? And I asked him about potatoes. So I asked him the price. He said 30 rupees a kg. And I told him, what if I purchase 5 kg? So he said, okay, in that case, I'll charge 25 rupees. What happened? Quantity increased, price declined. So if I increase the quantity, the price will be lesser the price. This is the price and that's the quantity. So there's an inverse relationship between price and quantity. Higher price, lower demand, lower price, higher demand. So that's your demand curve. Okay, so this is your demand curve. This is your demand curve. Done. Now, coming to what is equilibrium. Equilibrium is something where demand equals supply. Equality, the concept of equality, right? And you know the equality is a myth. Literally, I'm talking about, even in society. Equality is a myth. Okay. Equilibrium. So what is an equilibrium? Equilibrium is a point where demand equals supply. If you understand this concept, you will understand monetary policy, you will understand foreign exchange determination, you will understand every other concept in the future that we will be discussing about. Now, where is equilibrium? Equilibrium is at point this one. Okay, this is your point. Let me name this as point E. They are equal to each other at point E. This is going to be the price, right? Let's say price P, and this is going to be the quantity, let's say Q. Clear? Here we have price, here we have quantity. I'm not going to draw this diagram in the future. Okay, just clarifying. I'm not going to draw this kind of diagrams in the future. In the future, I'll just say it increase, it decrease, it equals, it doesn't equals. That's it. So price, quantity. Clear? Now, if I am at this particular point, what is the situation? This particular line. What is the situation in this case? What is the situation in this case? It basically means what? Price has increased or decreased? It basically means what? Price has increased or decreased? Price has increased. Let's say P1. From price P to price has increased to P1. Now what has happened? What has happened? Guys, inflation. This is inflation. When inflation happens, what happened? You reduce your demand and there is lot of supply in inflation. So demand is less than supply. It happens, right? During inflation. But during inflation, we stop purchasing everything. When you stop purchasing everything, demand will be less, supply will be more. The reverse will happen. Let's say P2. Here, demand exceeds supply. Demand exceeds supply. Now, when the demand exceeds supply, what is this? This is known as deflation. It's like a sale. Pantaloon sale, West Side sale, Amazon sale. big billion sale. When the big billion sale comes, what happened? People demand more than the supply because there is a price cut. There is a price cut. If you understand this concept, always keep this diagram in your brain, right? Always keep this as a memory while going through the classes. This is known as equilibrium, guys. Your interest rate determination, how does RBI create a monetary policy, how does foreign exchange is determined in India, what is balance of trade, what is balance of invisibles, right? Balance of payment, everything based on this kind of a diagram. That's it. So there are two opposite forces which are working to bring an equilibrium. There may be a disequilibrium above the equilibrium or below the equilibrium. These two are disequilibriums. I hope you have got this. Now, interest rate, because in that particular list, demand supply equilibrium, then next one was interest rate. All of you know what is interest, right? Interest is paid by a debtor. Interest is paid by a debtor, right? To whom? To the one who is lending, to the one who is lender, depositor. Okay. So let's say there is RBI, there is SBI, and there is you. Out of these three, who is a debtor? Who is a debtor and who is a lender? Please tell me. Chalo, who is a lender in this three case? RBI is lender. SBI is not. SBI also. SBI lender. Okay. Lender. Lender means the one who provides money. Lender is the one who provides money. Guys, if I open a savings account, who am I? I am a lender. So RBI provide money to SBI, lender. SBI provides a loan, right? Then RBI and SBI both are lenders. If you deposit your money, right, in your savings account, you have deposited money, then you are a lender. If SBI deposit money with RBI, let's say under CRR, sorry, not CRR, SLR, or any other thing, then SBI is a lender to RBI. So guys, all three are lenders, all three are debtors. Depends upon what is the case. Now, what does interest rate means? Interest rate basically means that the one who is taking the deposits will pay the rent interest. Okay. So in this first case, SBI is taking money from RBI. So SBI will pay interest. In this case, you are taking money from SBI. So you will pay interest. In the second case, when they are debtors, right? In that case, SBI is giving money to RBI. So RBI will give them interest. You are depositing money in the savings bank account. So you will get interest. Now that's the difference. Till now in your life, you understood that these three, that he is a borrower, that you are a borrower, all the other two are lenders. They lend money, right? They provide loans and you take loans. No. You are lender also, you are a debtor also. SBI is a lender also, SBI is a debtor also. RBI is a lender also, RBI is a debtor also. And you can add many other. Government. You can add government also. Government take money from RBI, government give money to RBI. Government take money from SBI, government give money to SBI. Government give money to you and government take money from you. Simple. You may have heard about something known as Mudra loans. Mudra loans. Micro Unit Development and Refinancing Agency. Mudra. Right? micro units. They are providing very small loans, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. Right? Now, Mudra is a money coming not from SBI or RBI, it is coming from government. So, what is the interest rate coming back? Interest rate is a payment from a debtor or a deposit taking any institution, could be anyone like SBI, RBI, government, whatever, to a lender or a depositor for an amount above the repayment of the principal. The interest is always over and above the principal. Basic things, right? There's nothing, there's no hard and fast science over here. If your principal is 1,000, right, your interest, if interest rate is 10%, it is going to be, right, 1,100. Simple, as simple interest I'm taking about. Okay, so there is nothing much to worry in this case. Now there are two things which you should know. Nominal interest rate, I'll give you the example with this. Nominal interest rate is an interest rate taking inflation into account. Before taking inflation into account, it means inflation effect is included. Here, interest rate adjusted for the effect of inflation. So inflation is excluded. Okay, chalo. Let's understand this. Have you heard about fixed deposit, guys? Have you heard about fixed deposit? What is the present rate of fixed deposit? Can you give me any percent? Your father, mother, or anyone in your family, or even you have any fixed deposit? 6%? Okay, chalo. Let's take SBI. Now SBI is my favorite bank, right? Because they have provided a very good service to me, right? Sarcasm. So I will take example of SBI only. Okay, chalo, 6%, 7 to 8%. Okay, chalo, let's take the best scenario possible, 8%. Okay, so they have a fixed deposit at 8%, compounded annually. Okay, compounded annually. Now, if you have deposited, let's say 1,000 rupees, this is your principal. What is the interest you will get? Anyone? 80 rupees? Don't you think 80 rupees? Chalo, 80 rupees. ठीक है, compounded annually. So you will get 1080. Clear? Clear? Let's come to another scenario. You went to the shop, right? You went to a shop and you purchase a pair of shoes. A pair of shoes. Right? You have purchased a pair of shoes. The price of those shoes was rupees 1,000. Right? The price of that shoe was 1,000. Okay? But before going to the shop, you changed your mind. And you took that money and you went to the fixed deposit and you deposited that money in this account. Okay? Instead of purchasing those shoes, you deposited that money into this account thinking that you will earn an interest of 80 rupees. And after 1 year, you'll be happy to see that 80 rupees. Wow. Okay. And after 1 year, you will purchase these shoes. Clear? Now, the inflation was at 10%. After 1 year, the price of these shoes become 1,100. Are you at loss or gain? Are you at loss or gain? Loss? Pure loss. So basically, interest rate, small r is for interest rate. Interest rate, if it is more than inflation, it is a benefit, right? If interest rate is more than inflation, it's a benefit. If interest rate is less than inflation, it's a loss. Now in India, presently the inflation is around 4 to 5%, and the fixed deposits are between 7 to 8%. So today the inflation rate is around 4 to 5%, right? And the interest rate on fixed deposit is 7 to 8%. Annually I'm talking about. Okay? Annually I'm talking about. Now please understand, in this case, keeping a fixed deposit is beneficial. Keeping a fixed deposit is beneficial in this particular case. However, look at the case of savings account. What is the interest rate on savings account? 2%. Inflation is 4 to 5%. On savings account, you have 2.5%. This is what SBI is giving, 2.5%. Is it beneficial to keep your money in the savings account? No, it's not. Now let's come back to the definition. So nominal interest rate before taking inflation into account, right? It is the interest rate, inflation effect is included in this. Interest rate adjusted for the effect of inflation, in this you remove. So if I had to get nominal interest, what will I do? I'll include interest plus inflation. Real interest minus inflation. Now, according to, as a customer, which is more important for you, nominal interest or real interest? Which is more important to you, nominal or real? Which gives you the clear picture? Yes, real one. Real one gives you the clear picture. If you understand this concept, you will understand real interest, you will understand real GDP, you will understand real exchange rate, right? Real exchange rate or effective exchange rate, REER, which is known as REER. We'll come across that later after many classes. So there are multiple things which comes into the picture and gives you the idea that why actually it is the real concept which is more important than the inflation or the nominal concept. We have real GDP, nominal GDP, right? We have real real interest, nominal interest, real exchange rate, nominal exchange rate, and there are many other concepts which will come across. So whenever you hear about a word which is known as nominal, please understand it is, first of all, it is talking about the current, present, right now. So it will always include the inflationary pressure. Okay, so that's the point, that's the difference. Okay, now for RBI, real interest is important. For you, real interest is important. For investors, real interest is important. Taxation. What is a tax? What is a tax? Okay, we think that tax is a money paid to the government. Clear? Tax is a money given to the, paid to the government. Clear? Have you ever paid tax to a private company? Anyone? I'll be really happy to see that. Have you ever paid tax to any private company? Never. I never paid that. Tax, first of all, tax is a legal concept. It's a legal concept. And whenever we talk about legal, we mean government. Okay? We mean government. Because legal means law. Law is made by the government. So tax is a legal concept. So it is under government. So it will always be paid to the government without a doubt. Agree. It's a money. It's a money. In the present world, tax is paid in the form of money. In the old age, that is in the medieval times, the ancient times, right? At that point of time, you will find that it was, yes, it was also paid in kind or labor. So previously we had money, right? Labor. Labor means a person can go to someone's house and can provide service. I will clean the house. Instead of paying the tax, he will clean the house. So that's a kind of that's a labor. Or kind, so instead of paying tax, I will pay 50 kgs of wheat or 50 kgs of rice. That's a different, those were the different times. Now tax is paid only in the form of money. It is paid only to the government. So this definition seems clear, right? Barter system and tax payment are two different things. In barter system, you have exchange. In barter system, you have exchange. In tax, it is a one-sided payment. It is one-sided. When you pay tax to the government, what government pays to you? What government pays to you? Promise. Right? They pay promise. Achhe din aayenge. Okay. They sell promise. Make America great again. They are politicians, they will do that. Rahul Gandhi is saying that, he will bring 85% of the reservation, whatever. Okay. Politicians, they show dreams. But please understand, when you pay government taxes, government does not pay anything in return. It's a one-sided or unilateral. It is one-sided or unilateral payment. Okay. Basically, it is known as, there is no quid pro quo. Right? There is no quid pro quo. Quid pro quo means, there is no quid pro quo means there is nothing which is coming against of. So it is one-sided payment. There is nothing which is coming in return. It's a monetary payment. It is payment made to the government. Last point. Okay. First of all, let me highlight that. So a tax is a mandatory, right, by any government or individual. So it is legal. Or a financial charge levied by any government, again, right, on an individual or any organization to collect revenue for public work. Basic definition, right? Then it is a unilateral transfer. It is a unilateral transfer, because if you pay the tax, you cannot claim the government. I have paid my tax, so this road should be clean. No. Why? Because the amount of tax that I have paid and the services that I'm getting, there's a huge difference in that. Okay, let's say I have paid a tax of 50,000. Can I make a road out of 50,000? So how can I make a claim on the road? If I have paid a tax of 50,000, can I claim a park, public park, or a bus, or a Vande Bharat train? I cannot put a claim on anything like that, because the tax that I have paid is 50,000. The services that I'm using or enjoying values in crores. A single property, a public park, the value of that property may be crores, but I have just paid 50,000. Okay, so we cannot justify the social service, the government services, with the payment of taxes that we have. But the social media talks about something else. It's a unilateral, it is legal. Now, the most important thing which is not mentioned in the definition is, tax is paid against some economic activity. Please tell me a tax which is imposed on social service. Tell me. Please tell me a tax which is imposed on social service, voluntary services, charity. Batao. Have you ever seen that? Pension, scholarship. Have you seen? No. In pension, a person can have a minor rate of that, but please understand, government of India has already provided a lot of exemptions to the senior citizens as well. Basically, charity, right? Scholarship, religious work, voluntary service, right? Guys, these are not economic activities. They are not producing anything. Are they? Now we'll say कि sir, education is there. So bhai, education is a service. Education is a service, right? And this is value addition. It is human capital. This is human capital. These are social aids. These are social aid. Then you will say, sir, when we go to a temple, sometimes we pay entry fee. In some of the temple or any religious place, you may find some kind of a minor fee. Please understand, let's say I want to join an NGO. Now joining an NGO should be free, right? It should be free. But sometimes government charges a fee. Please understand the difference. There's a difference between tax versus fee, charge, penalty, and others. These things are different. These things are different. This is different. Clear? Have you ever heard the word tuition fee? Tuition fee for schools. For schools. Have you heard this tuition fee for the schools? Right? Have you heard about tuition tax? So please be careful where you use the word tax and where you use the word fee. Okay. Traffic. Have you heard about this word traffic tax? There's nothing like traffic tax. It is traffic challan, right? Or traffic fine. So guys, there are multiple words which are being used to define a kind of a payment from one party to the other party. Out of these multiple payments, the one payment which is done against the economic activity, if there is no economic activity produced, there is no tax. If a person is driving a car, right, drunk and drive, there's a drunken drive, what is the economic activity was there? Which economic activity took place? Sir, he purchased alcohol. Arey to bhai, when he purchased alcohol, he already paid a tax on alcohol, excise duty on alcohol. He has already paid that. The payment which he is doing to the traffic constable, because the drunken drive, that payment is not a tax. It's a fine. It's a fine. So please understand, tax is paid against some economic activity. There should be an economic activity, production of some goods or some services, something like that. There are two types of taxes. One is direct, the second one is indirect. So easy. Direct tax is the levied and paid by the same person. Simple, right? So direct tax, levied on you, paid by you. Simple. Indirect tax, levied on me, paid by you, or vice versa. Levied on you, paid by me. Like GST. Who pay GST? Who pay GST? Who pay GST? Common people, nahi, everyone, even Modi ji will pay GST. Who pay GST? The one who consume. The one who consume. But is it levied on the consumer? No, it is levied on the product, the producer. So if I purchase a car, I will pay GST. Definitely, I will pay GST. But did I pay the GST to the government? No. I paid the GST to the car manufacturer. The car manufacturer will pay it to the government. So under indirect taxes, there are multiple channels through which the tax is passed upon. So the tax passes from one person to the other, to the third, to the fourth, to the fifth person, and that's how the things are being framed up. So this is known as indirect taxes. We'll come across these concepts a lot. So direct tax, example, income tax, corporate tax. Income tax is on you, corporate tax is on the companies, right? Here you have GST, VAT, and many others, excise, customs, and all. Okay, so yes, that's the one. So this is the concept of taxes, basic taxes, which I wanted to discuss. Next, what's the difference between money and currency? Haan bhai. Yesterday also I gave you the insights about it. Please tell me, what is the difference between money and currency? Tell me, what's the difference between money and currency? Money is in my pocket, quantity is money, rupee is currency. Okay, okay. Have you heard about this word codis? Have you heard about this word codis? Money I have personally, currency is for the nation. No. Have you heard about this codis? Okay. Have you heard about a gold chain? Have you heard about credit card, check? Can I use all of these to make payment? I mean, obviously codis not today, but there were the times when codis were also prevalent in India. Can I use these to make payment? Yes. Use for payments. Use for payments. Chalo. Why go far? 1 kg of rice. Can I use this for payment? Yes. Under barter system? Yes. I can. So guys, all these are money. Anything that helps you to buy goods and service is money. But none of them is currency. None of them is currency. Currency is a legal tender. It may be a coin, it may be a note, or it may be, now we are talking about digital currency also. It may be anything. Literally. But it's a legal tender. If you go to a person and tell them, I will make the payment in gold chain, he will say, no, I don't want. He can reject. He can reject. Because gold is not a legal tender. Legal tender means that nobody can deny to accept it. It's not legal tender. Credit card, some people deny. No, sir, I cannot take credit card payments. Sorry, cash only. Check payment can be denied. This will always be denied. right? I'm pretty sure all of you must have seen, right? We all are Indians, so irrespective of which country or sorry, which city you are living in, you must have seen that there are some people who will come to the households and they will carry utensils and they will take away either old cloths or hairs. Have you seen that? They'll take away old cloth or hairs, or these days they are also taking away electronic items, the old electronic items, and they will give back utensils, right? Okay, your mother do that. Mum means I'm mother, right? I'm not wrong. Okay, look, we do that. Now that is kind of a barter system even today, and nobody knows the exact value of those things. We do not know the exact value. That does a bowl of steel or aluminium value 10 pieces of clothes or not? We don't know, but it's a common understanding between the people. So over there, cloth, hair, and old electronic items act as a money, not currency. Currency is, it is a legal tender, right? It's a legal tender and it is basically coins and notes. That's it. So this is your money, and within the money you have a small segment of currency. So all currency is money, but all money is not currency. See, money is a medium of exchange that helps you to buy something. That's it. It's a medium of exchange. It helps you to buy something, right? Purchase something. It can be issued by the government, central bank, commercial bank, non-governmental organization like you and me. Anyone can issue money, right? It is helpful for the store of value over the period of time. Okay, like 1 kg of rice. I know that 1 kg of rice will be used as a money, so I will keep it safe. Okay, gold chain, property, anything. Currency, it is a physical tangible form of money. It is physical, guys. Okay, now it's a subset of money. Obviously I draw that diagram, right? Larger circle, smaller circle, specifically issued by the government or the central authority. Nothing with respect to the private sector. Private NGO, they cannot issue that, right? Loss of value over the period of time, which is true. And I gave you the concept that money, as the inflation comes up, currency loses its value. Presently Indian rupee is losing its value. That is because of the exchange rate and many other reasons, but it is losing its value, right? So currency loses the value. I mean, let me clarify. I'm pretty sure you have not seen a 25 paisa coin in your life, right? 50 paisa you may have seen. You have seen 1 rupee coin only. You have never seen a paisa. Maybe on images or with your grandmother or great grandmother, you may have seen some of the coins, but I'm pretty sure you have not used them for the transactions. Nobody accepts that, despite being a money, despite being a currency, because the value of this is not there in the market. Now there is nothing that you can purchase for 25 paisa. There is nothing, right? Even if there is a toffee, let's say a candy, a toffee, which is 2 for 1 rupee, you will have to purchase 2 only. You will not be able to purchase 1 for 50 paisa. This is how it is, right? This is how it is. So the value of currency falls over the period of time. Value of currency falls over the period of time. That's it. So that's why I wanted to explain you the concept between money and currency. We are concerned with currency, right? Economics revolves around the currency rather than money. Okay, GDP current versus constant. Before that, I would like to give you the idea about GDP, and this is NCRT level, so don't get too much, sir, why we are reading this and that. Basics hai. We'll be starting with the basics. GDP. GDP stands for gross domestic product. Now, what is gross, what is domestic, what is product? You are not concerned about that right now. I have a separate class. I have 2 classes for national income. If you have got the schedule, you will see I have 2 classes just for the national income. Okay, so don't worry about this. Now, GDP actually on a broader concept has 5 components. It has 5 components. C plus I plus G plus X minus M. Now, what these 5 are? C is consumption. C is consumption, investment, government spendings or government expenditure, exports, right? Exports and import. Export and import. There is no 6th item in the GDP. Consumption, my consumption, your family's consumption, Modi ji's consumption, Rahul Gandhi's consumption, Virat Kohli's consumption, right? Government consumption, private sector consumption, NGO consumption, everyone who is consuming anything. Right now, you are consuming this digital class. This is a consumption. This is a consumption of educational services. So this is consumption. It is included in this. The second one is investment. Your investment, my investment, government investment, Adani investment, Sachin Tendulkar's investment, Shah Rukh Khan's investment, anyone, individual, private, government, institutions, companies, anyone who is doing an investment. Okay. So if government is investing, it is here. Okay. Apart from that, the government spendings will come from here. Now, usually government does not invest to earn profit, right? This investment is for profit. This investment is for profit or for running a business. So rarely you will find government higher ratio over here. It is mostly private. So private investment, capital formation. Here government comes, the role of the government comes a lot. So when government builds roads, when government builds hospitals, when government builds let's say schools, infrastructure, ports, and many other things, government spend money for a lot of things. Government spend money on social schemes also. MG Narega, right? Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Pradhan Mantri this Yojana, Pradhan Mantri wo Yojana, right? Stand Up India, Start Up India, statues of the leaders, which is now profitable actually. Statue of Unity is now turning out to be a profitable business. So government spends a lot of money on many things, right? Some of them are fruitful, some of them are not, whatever may be the reason. So government also has some spendings. Then comes exports. So India earns from the export. We export things. Now we are exporting billions of dollars of Apple iPhone from India, right? Pakistanis are also purchasing that. And import. So India imports a lot of things, oil, gold, Chinese products. We import a lot of things. Now, why M is minus? Anyone? Why M is minus? Why M is minus? Yes, because something is going out. Yes, money going out. Correct. Money is going out. Right? So let's say the consumption is 80 rupees. Investment is 10 rupees. Government spending is 20 rupees. Export is 10 rupees. Import is minus 20. So what is the GDP? Hurry up, hurry up. You should have a ability to quickly. GDP is 100, right? By this gone. GDP is 100. GDP is 100. Clear? So this is the basic, the foundation of your economy. This is the foundation calculation of your economy, GDP. Clear? Coming to this formal definition. GDP is a monetary measure. So obviously I gave you all the numbers in money. Monetary measure, it's a monetary measures, right? Of the total market value of all final goods and services produced and rendered in a specific time period, which is a financial year, by a country. So in 365 days, starting from 1st of April to 31st of March, what India has produced, okay, what India has produced, by whatever you have consumed, whatever investment you have made, whatever government spendings have been made, something was produced, something goods or services was produced, right? So if you are consuming the service, this class, this educational class that you are getting right now, if you are consuming this class, it means somebody is also producing this class. I am producing this class. You are watching this on this digital platform. So kya hua? So your consumption equals my production. Simple, right? So the total market value of final goods and services produced, market value, present value of those goods, right? Present value is known as GDP. Current GDP, current prices. Constant GDP, constant prices. Let me give you a very simple example. Later on, I'll give you the detailed discussions for this. Okay, all of you must have consumed a samosa, right? It's a very unhealthy but very tasty Indian, right? Indian good. So samosa. Let me compare this with two different years. Price, quantity, right? Total sale, right? Or total revenue, total, right? Sale or total revenue. The price of samosa was, let's say, 10 rupees. I am producing 50 units. My total revenue, I am a shopkeeper. I'm the shopkeeper, okay? And my total sale is 500 rupees. 10 rupees is the price of a samosa. I have sold 50 units in a day. 500 is my total earning. Clear? 2025. Price is 20 rupees. I have sold 50 rupees, 50 units, right? 50 units. My total earning is 1000. Clear? What is the difference, guys? This increase from 500 to 1000, is it because of the quantity or price? This increase of my revenue, is it because of the prices or quantity? At least 5-6 answers I want on the screen. 5-6 answers should be there. Everyone. Why you are not writing? Sanjana, Ankit, why you are not writing? Write the answers. Due to inflation, right? Due to prices. Why? Because what has changed? If my revenue doubled, it is only because of my prices. My business remains same. I'm not growing. Overall prices increased, so I also increased the price of my samosa, so my revenue is increasing. There is no change in my life. There is no change in my business. So this is known as current GDP. It is at current GDP. Clear? Right? This is known as a current price. This is current price. It is current price. So it is current GDP. If I have to calculate this in the base price, old prices. So multiply the present unit, aaj ka present unit, with the old one. It gives you what? Constant GDP. It will remain 500 only. So it is a myth, guys. My current GDP, which is based on my current prices, this year's prices, is an illusion. This 1000 is an illusion. It's a myth. Actually, there is no change. From 500, I have reached to the 500 only. There is no change. There is no change. The total output remains the same. So don't you think nominal is a myth? This can be nominal GDP also, right? Nominal GDP, current GDP, whatever. So the current prices, GDP at a current prices is a myth. Now let me tell you one reason. When you open the newspaper, you will find India's GDP growth is at, let's say, 6.5%. Please tell me, is this constant or current? Make a guess. Is this constant or current? Current, right? So this is, let's say, 2024-25 financial year. This is current GDP. So to calculate the constant GDP, what I will remove? Inflation. Inflation is, so this is current GDP, right? Inflation 4.5. So my constant GDP is 2%. This is how India is growing. This is how India is growing. Do you want to see a magic? The magic is, this is India's constant GDP. India's actual current GDP is 12%. India is not growing at 2%, guys. Why Modi ji is shouting everywhere, India is growing, India is the fastest growing GDP, India is the fastest growing GDP? Because the real GDP of India, the real output, the real change in number of samosas is more. It is the highest in the world in terms of emerging economy. You know what is emerging economy? Those economies which are larger in size and are also growing at a larger rate. There are many economies which are growing at 10%, 15%, 20%. But guys, the size of those economies are like a city, right? They're like a city nations. So we don't agree with them. A large country growing at a very high rate is only one, and that is India on this planet right now. Okay. So please understand this difference. So the current GDP of India is around 10, 11 to 13%, depending upon the inflation, right? I'm not coming to the base year right now. I'm not talking about the base year. Okay. The concept of base year we will discuss later on. Why it is 6.5? 6.5 of what? For when we will discuss that. 6.5% of what? Previous year? Or 6.5% of 5 years back? Then we will come across that under a different concept. So this is the point. Current GDP includes the final value of goods and services produced at a current prices, not adjusted to inflation. Here adjusted to inflation. Adjusted to inflation means inflation is removed. Growth and development. Let me give you some examples for this. Let's say there is a tree, right? Sorry for my sorry for my drawing. This is a kind of a tree. Imagine this is a tree, right? In 2020, this tree was a kind of plant, something like this, right? It was a plant. Okay. 2020, it was a plant. Now in 2025, 5 years is enough for a tree, for a plant to become a tree. This is a tree. Is this a growth or development? Please tell me. Is this a growth or development? Let me just drink a glass of water, please. Some of you are saying growth, some of you are saying development. Okay. Growth. Actually, it is both. It is both. When we talk about growth, it matters with respect to the size. So from a small plant, right? Yes, Jacob, you're right. It's both. From a small plant to a large tree. So the growth is expansion of size. But growth can be negative and positive also. Please understand that. Growth can be negative and positive also. So this is a positive growth. This is a positive growth. There might be a situation, right? There might be a situation where this plant, small plant, would have grown but would have died out because of some disease or something else. It grew but it died out. That is a negative growth. This is a positive growth. Now, why I'm saying a development? Development basically means not only it is growing, but it is also flourishing. Look at the size of the branches, the size, the trunk, the roots, everything has expanded. So there is quality growth, right? This is in terms of numbers. You can say 20%, 50%, 30%, 40%, right? This plant has grown by 50% or 50 times of its size. Okay. On the other hand, you will say, so this is qualitative. Yes, exactly. This is what is measured. This is something you can measure. That's why GDP growth. We never say GDP development. We say GDP growth. Right? We are saying GDP growth. 6.5 is a number. 6.5 can be measured. But is India developing? Look around you. Do you find development? I do. As an economics teacher, I do find development. Yes, I do find development. Kaise? Just go 20 years back to a railway station in India. And now go to a railway station again in India after 20 years. You'll find changes. The quality of trains, we have Vande Bharat, we have many other trains, clean railway stations. I'm not saying absolutely clean because we know how Indians are, right? Gutka, pan masala and all that. Indians do not have civic sense, but still they are good. Airports, very good, right? Infrastructure, highways, national highways, expressways, ports, many things are there. So yes, we are improving not only in numbers, but in quality as well. So this is development. And this is growth. Clear? Yes. Development is used. Quality cannot be measured on numbers. Right? It is something else. There are multiple parameters. This can be done through a calculations. It is not done on a calculation. Here you need to see that whether the quality of life is changing or not. Whether people are able to change their quality of life or not. Whether they are able to change what they were living at and what they are living now. Secondly, growth is both positive and negative. Development is always positive. Development is always positive. It is never negative. It is never negative. Okay. For example, if I say population growth. Now, population growth is not a good idea for any country, guys. For example, India, we already crossed 140 crores. Many migrants are also coming up. I don't know why. So the point is that growth can be negative or positive. Development is positive. This is the basic tenet. This is the basic difference between the two. Okay, now let's just wind up quickly because that's very easy. Economic growth refers to the raise in the value everything produced within the country. So the value is increasing. 20% increase, 30% increase, 40% increase. It is a process of rise in the real national income due to structural changes for over long period of time. real national income is increasing, quality of life is changing. The scope of economic growth is narrow compared to the scope. Its scope is narrow. Okay, scope is narrow means, that's why I told you measurements. Right? To calculate economic growth, you just need few parameters. What is the consumption, what is investment, and it's very easy to measure growth. But to measure development, it's very tough. It's very tough. Let me give you some two examples. One example. Let's say there are two friends, right? There are two friends, right? Who are those two friends? One is Modi and one is Rahul Gandhi. Right? They are best friends forever. Okay. Now, when he goes to meet the people, he say, I am happy. I am happy, but poor. I am happy, but poor. Right? When he goes and meet the people, he says, I am unhappy. I am unhappy, but rich. Please tell me who of them has a developed life? Modi ji? This is not Prime Minister Modi, yaar, kuch bhi. No, never. This is not Prime Minister Modi. This is Lalit Modi, the cricketer, right? The businessman Lalit Modi, the one who started IPL. So the answer is none of them. None of them is happy. None of them is developed. Because poverty is not development, and unhappiness is also not development. But if poverty is a development, then Pakistan would have been called a developed country. Bangladesh would have been called a developed country, because both the countries have more poverty than India. If unhappiness is considered to be development, then Afghanistan would have been developed, Somalia would have been developed, Palestine would have been developed, Nigeria would have been developed. So the point is that you need the rising level of income of the people, and their quality of life should also change. Their health should improve, their education should improve, their locality should improve, even environment should improve. Lesser pollution, lesser crimes, and many other things. So qualitative development is something which is required. The word qualitative growth is not there. You have qualitative development. Indicators: how to measure growth? GDP, GNP. How to measure development? Multiple things: human development, life expectancy, health, education, access to services, environment, public transportation. If Rahul Gandhi is unhappy for family pressure, does it get counted? Could be. Right. Recently there was a World Happiness Report, and Pakistan was more happier than India. Bhai, kya hai? Pakistan, and obviously Pakistan would be more happier because they are living a Delulu life, right? They are living a Delulu life, delusion life. They say that Operation Sindoor was a success for them. They say that they shot down five Rafales. When India asked where are the debris, if you have shot down 5 Rafales, there must be 1 or 2 debris. Kahin to gira hoga. It must have fallen somewhere in Pakistan. Or did they sold to that scrap wala kabadi? They're happy, right? Okay, whatever may be the situation. Coming back to the topic, measurement of development is a tough task. Growth, it's not. Some other dimensions. Yes, Nepal is also happier than us. Yes, They can burn the house of their prime minister, they can burn their parliament, and still if they are happy. So I don't want that kind of a happiness in India, right? In India also we change governments, but we change the government through voting process. Okay, when Manmohan Singh government had too much of corruption in 2012 and 13, literally guys, there were too much of corruption, you can google it around. We changed the government, we changed the government. Simple. Okay, measurements. How it is being measurement, right? GDP, GNP, the same thing, right? Here HDI, HPI, human poverty index, human development index. Economic growth is a resultant effect of an occurrence. It results from something. You put more investment, GDP growth. You reduce the investment, GDP reduces. You increase the consumption, it increases. But here that does not happen. It's a process. It is a composite thing. It is compounding something. If you teach if you provide a good education to the present generation, it is not going to produce results in the present generation, guys. It will produce results in the next, to next, to next, and other 3 generations. So it's a process. It's not that today you will increase the investment and next year your GDP will increase. No. It's a process. Growth. The concept of growth is generally used by developing countries. In India, developed countries, because they have already achieved higher per capita income. They already have higher per capita income over, like US, the per capita income is $80,000. $80,000, right? In India, it is close to 3,000. We are about to reach $3,000. Now compare $80,000 with 3,000 of India. So for us, the target is to reach 80,000 before even talking about development. Here, the things are different. Economic growth is quantitative, simple, you can measure it. Qualitative. Then, economic growth is a rapid process, mostly annual. It is a slow process. It takes decades. Between 2024 to 25, GDP grew by 6.5%. So this is growth. This is growth. What is a development within this 1 year? Anything? Anyone? Can you make a guess? What is a development? We don't know. We literally don't know. We literally don't know. You may see that there are minor changes in the human development index or human poverty index or World Bank's poverty measurement or World Development Report. Could be there. Could be there. Minor changes. India's rank improved a little bit. That is not development, guys. Even today, when I was in a school, I still remember 5th or 6th standard. Even at that point of time, India was not in top 100 of development. Even today, India is not in top 100. So where is the development? So for India to reach in the top 100 of the development, right? If you want to reach there, we are still lagging behind by many ranks. So there are smaller countries which developed faster than India. One of the most unequal country in South Asia. Poverty increased by 25 lakh people. 2014-23. Actually, it was not 14. Poverty actually increased in India because of COVID. COVID came as a setback. It's a huge setback. Okay. I discussed that in the optional classes. So COVID came as a structural default to the Indian economy. Now coming to this. So please understand, it is possible, it is not possible in a short term. The last one. Economic growth is possible without economic development, which is true. Positive, negative, both. Economic development is not possible without economic growth. To be happy, you should be rich, basically, right? Being a poor and still be happy is just psychological. It's not materialistic. And there is nothing wrong to earn more. Okay, there's nothing wrong to earn more. Now these are some of the questions that should come to your mind, right? Can you answer these questions? How is labor reorganized in India? Sorry, how a labor is recognized in India? Do you know types of labor in India? Do you know what is formal labor? What is organized labor? Or what is informal labor? Farmer is a formal or informal labor? A farmer. A farmer is formal or informal labor? Informal, right? Because he's not registered somewhere. He's not getting a pension, or no, he's not working for a company like an employee, like corporate mazdoor types. No, no, he is the master of his own life. If the agriculture is good, if the environment is good, if the climate is good, he's producing good, he is the happiest person on the planet, right? He's not a corporate mazdoor. So basically, now of course for the farmers you can tell me, but what about me? I am formal, informal, organized, or unorganized. Now you'll say, sir, how can we tell that? Obviously you cannot tell that. But you cannot tell that, government can tell it. Government have all the data. When I'm paying the tax, when I'm paying the GST, when I'm doing all these things, basically I am recognized somewhere. But what are the rules and regulations for this? What are the rules and regulations for formalization? What are the rules and regulations for unorganized sector? That is something now we will be discussing about. Second question. If I work in a factory, which collar worker I am? So there is pink collar, green collar, blue collar, white collar, gray collar, right? This is given in your NCRTs, right? So which collar I work if I'm in a factory? Am I a blue collar? Yes. If I work but do not earn, I'm working but I do not earn a regular salary and do not have recognition, am I an employee? Give me the answer to this question, third one. Think, I am working but I do not get a regular salary, right? And I am not recognized. Am I an employee? Am I employed? I'm employed, right? Example, rickshaw wala. Rickshaw wala. He works, but he does not get a regular salary. Nobody is paying him salary. He has his own rickshaw. He's not being recognized. Do not think that he's recognized, he's getting pension and he's getting that provident fund and all those. No, no, no. So he is self-employed. He is an employed. He is employee, but he is employed to himself. He is self-employed. See, these are the questions that UPSC ask. They'll just give you a list of 4 people and they will say ki, bhai, who of them are formal, or who of them are unorganized, or who of them belongs to the organized sector, right? What are the different types of sectors in the Indian economy? You may have heard about primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector, right? Disguise nahi, the disguise is something else. I'll come to that when we'll talk about the employment and unemployment. Disguise is something who is working in a job but he is not required to work there. Okay. There are 4 sectors? No, there are 5. Primary, secondary, tertiary, quinary and quaternary, or quaternary and quinary, right? There are 5 sectors given in your NCRT. So we'll be talking about that as well. How is research and development part of economic development? Is it part? Is it an employment? Is research and development part of economic development? See, that's why yesterday also in the very first class I told you that you should ask questions. You should ask questions when you look around. You should ask questions. What is this particular thing? What is this particular task that I'm talking about, that I'm seeing around? Yes, research and development is a job, but which sector this is? Primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary, quaternary. Which sector is this? What about Modi ji? Which sector does he belongs to? Right? Or Rahul Gandhi. Which sector does he belongs to? Or ISRO scientist. ISRO scientist belongs to research and development. Right? If you become an IAS officer, which sector will you belong to? Primary, tertiary, secondary, which one? Right? Third one, tertiary sector. But gradually you will shift towards quaternary. You will start from tertiary sector, but gradually you will shift towards quaternary sector. Quaternary and quaternary sector, research and development, you will be part of policy making and so on and so forth. So basically, guys, I've put up these questions just to give you the idea that what we are now going to start with. We will be starting with the classification of various sectors. All right, classification of various sectors. Just have a look on the screen what is written. Just read it for a while. Just for 1 minute, please read it thoroughly. So classification of various sectors in the Indian economy. Indian economy and other economy, same. It's the same process. So there is nothing much difference about it. Enterprise based means a setup, right? Like presently I am working as an enterprise. Okay. It can be any kind of an enterprise. Let's say a vegetable vendor on the road. It's an enterprise. Tata Motors factory, enterprise, right? A normal kirana store, enterprise. Can be anything, right? It is divided into two: organized, unorganized. I'll give you the definitions and everything properly about everything. Then activity based, which activity you are involved in. Which activity you are involved in. Primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary and quinary. अब देखो, there can be a mix and match of both. You can be in an unorganized sector but in primary. For example, farmer. Farmer is unorganized but he belongs to primary. Okay. A barber shop. A barber shop is unorganized but tertiary. Right? Okay. SBI, State Bank of India, organized but tertiary. Tata Motors, organized but tertiary. Right? Organized but tertiary. This is how it is. Okay. What I am doing right now, I am providing you services. Unorganized, tertiary. I belong to unorganized sector. Individuals usually belong to the unorganized sectors only. Okay. As an individual, I am doing this. So I belong to tertiary. I also provide content to the organizations. I prepare content for myself, but I'm not charging anything to myself. But when I provide content, the economic content to other organizations, I make papers, I make questions and other things. In that case, I'm doing some research work. So I belong to unorganized but quaternary sector. See, my role changes. What activity I am doing, on the basis of that, it is being divided into 5. I'll give you the examples of all of them, so don't worry. Right? Ownership based, who is the owner? Private owner, government owner, joint owner, not for profit, or NGOs. Right? Let me give you the examples of all 4 of them. Government owner, SBI. Private owner, ICICI. Joint ownership, let's say that actually SBI is a joint ownership. Chalo, Amul belongs to the joint ownership. Amul milk, you know, all these things, right? Not for profit. So guys, there are hundreds of them, right? NGOs and others that work. Classification in India. This is what you see in India's budget. In India's budget, you will never see this classification. This is foundational understanding. In India's budget and economic survey, this Indian economy is divided into three sectors only. In the budget, you will never find quaternary, quinary, all those things. No. In India's budget, you will find that India's GDP, India's economy is divided into three sectors: agriculture, industry, services. Right? Now, industry includes manufacturing. So manufacturing of this pen, manufacturing of this t-shirt, manufacturing of this screen. Mining, you know what is mining. Okay. Oil, gas, electricity. Electricity is also producing something. Power distribution and construction. In construction, we produce real estate. We produce buildings. Clear? So this is the basic classification that we have. You have to understand all these as well as all these. In fact, if you miss the last one, it's not a concern. I'll talk about that under disinvestment. This is the further classification. Whatever I have shown you, it is through a flow chart. This will help you to understand the things further. Same thing which was there, now it is here. Activity based, 5. Based on the work conditions, 2. Based on the ownership, 4. This is how the India's economic sector is being divided. But in this case, we do not find the actual classification, which is agriculture, industry and services. That is something that we will be starting from here. Okay, but I do not have a time for that. I have to rush for my optional class as well. So we'll start from here, a new topic, that is sectoral growth. So in the timetable or in the schedule also, you will see the third class is for the sectoral growth and the sectoral composition of India. So that's all for the basics today. We'll start from the sectoral composition tomorrow. Thank you everyone. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time.